As a quick introduction, my name is Ryan Garrett. I'm an advisory SaaS architect here at Rubrik. Today, we have Juliette, Chief Administrative Officer for NAEGELI Deposition and Trial, one of the nation's leading court reporting and litigation support firms. Juliette, thank you for taking time to be here. Let me start with an easy question for you. So, why is protecting Microsoft 365 data so critical to NAEGELI specifically?
Yeah, thanks so much, Ryan. We're excited to be here. Why protecting Microsoft 365 data is so crucial is because at NAGLI, we are in the legal industry. So a lot of other companies, maybe some of their documents are sensitive, not all, but here all of our documents and communication are extremely sensitive. They contain some of the most personal and confidential materials of a person's life. So we need confidence of data protection in every document, every message, every interaction. We use Microsoft applications for external and internal communications. So what that can look like is sharing documents. It's pertaining to massive legal cases we handle daily. Sometimes these cases can be multi-million-dollar cases. So one little mistake can be a big price. So if you accidentally delete the wrong file, it can be huge for us. So, think of a time maybe when you were working on a huge project, whether you were in school or at work. It could be a spreadsheet, photos, message from a loved one, and then you accidentally delete that file and your soul just leaves your body for that split second. We've had that happen too. And so with Microsoft 365 data being protected, it prevents that feeling from happening, and nobody ever wants to feel that way. So it's just a huge relief knowing that if something's actually accidentally deleted, we can get it back right away. It helps us manage our caseloads with efficiency, uses our tech to its max capacity. We have email threads we're constantly exchanging with our clients. Internally, we're deploying our resources. We have team chats to notify each other of sensitive time tasks that need attention, like if a client needs a court reporter booked, for example, maybe a transcript needs to get out to our client. We also use SharePoint, so that's where we house everyday legal document templates, which is, it saves us a ton of time and lets us quickly move on to the next agenda item. Overall, being able to restore a crucial email, a file, any of those platforms is just a lifesaver for us. It takes away the anxiety of, am I working too fast? Am I going to delete the wrong thing? Okay, I'm going to delete. Is it okay? And we have a huge team here. So there's human error. Things happen. So our deadlines are super strict. The expectations from our clients are super high. And having reliable technology makes a world of a difference for us. Protecting Microsoft 365 has truly transformed our mindset. So when we work, we're more efficient, we're more confident, and we can make quick decisions because, as everyone knows, movement's life.
Yes, that's a great response. So let me go a little bit deeper. So given the sensitive nature of legal work, what types of data are you guys protecting, and why does that create unique requirements for your organization?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So in the legal field, we're handling confidential case data every single day. So on any given day, it could be a deposition transcript. If you don't know what that is, long story short, it is testimony of someone who maybe has been through an experience and they're giving their account. It could be testimony for private things, private matters. We have sealed court exhibits, so those can include sensitive pictures or things of an accident, confidential video testimony, so actually recordings of people giving their story or reenacting what happened. So other materials like that as well are highly personal and proprietary. So we're also talking trade secrets, private health information, personal identifiers, social security numbers, sensitive images. So what makes legal work so unique is the potential impact that if any of that information were to be compromised, it's not just about us being compliant or checking the boxes, dotting the T's, crossing the T's, dotting the I's. It's about protecting someone's business, their reputation, their livelihood, their family. So that's why we have rules about keeping records for a really long time as well. So a case could be closed, like we could do an assignment, and then years later, a client could need it. So we're not only handling these sensitive documents for short periods of time, it's long periods of time. So it's a lot amount of data, and we need every file stored safely and exactly where it should be, and we should not have to worry about it. So for us, the data protection is not just a best practice, it's actually a fundamental responsibility. We need the best tools possible that ensure that information is secure, it's accessible, and preserved for the long haul.
Yeah, that's great. So let me ask you maybe a more specific question. So what led you guys to choose Rubrik to protect your M365 infrastructure?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we need the best tools possible. So we did extensive research before accepting or working with any vendor. We researched their reputation, their history, their reviews. So we went with Rubrik because obviously you guys are stellar in all those areas, but we're providing litigation support to legal cases all over the country. So protecting the data is not just a nicety, it's mission critical. So we treat it with the seriousness it deserves. So we vet and make sure that before we pick a certain company, they have the proper credentials. One thing we appreciate most specifically about Rubrik is that it gives us a central location to manage all of our Microsoft 365 data. So less time spent on administrative tasks and faster recovery if we ever need to restore a message or file, which happens quite frequently, and we do sometimes need to bring a new data source into the mix, and Rubrik makes it incredibly easy to do that. It's not difficult. Things are constantly changing, especially in the security realm. So we're always having to add different data sources, and that makes it so much easier, and allows our IT department to be really forward-thinking, proactive, instead of always reacting to issues coming up. So we can fine tune exactly what needs to be backed up also with Rubrik. So we can do specifics to make sure our Microsoft apps are backed up the way we want them, kind of customize it, which helps us manage our costs and reduce unnecessary strain on our infrastructure, basically, with the cloud-to-cloud backups. So overall, so many wonderful things about it, but we also really like the immutability feature. That's a huge one for us, knowing that our backups cannot be tampered with or deleted. Even if someone got a hold of our admin credentials, gives us true peace of mind. It's kind of a protection that aligns perfectly with the level of confidentiality and security our clients expect. So thankfully, I will report we've not had any security breaches, but we do intend to keep it that way. I personally, like, my example when I was thinking about these topics was that cybersecurity is kind of like locking your house at night. Of course, you hope you're never going to get targeted, but if you leave all your doors and windows wide open, the risk of a break-in just rises. So just as you secure your home to keep intruders out, you need to protect your digital assets from cyber threats. So we believe in being proactive, prepared for anything. It's the key to our success, and that's why we use Rubrik, so we are prepared.
It's funny because the analogy that I always use when I'm talking to customers is think of Rubrik's M365 backup as the fire safe in your house. When your whole house burns down, Rubrik will be there to crack the safe open and recover your data. So it's funny that you use the analogy of the house as well. So let me ask you this. So what Rubrik capabilities around M365 have you found most valuable that meet kind of all the requirements we talked about today?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, the protection of our Microsoft 365 environment is one of the hugest advantages we've seen with Rubrik. It is so important to our company, and I actually have a very relatable example that happened to us actually at the company recently. So again, we're nationwide, we have offices across the country, and one day we had like just a few months ago, a sudden hardware malfunction where a physical server here at the company at our national headquarters holding a significant amount of data went down without warning. We had no idea. I know half of our IT department was out that day, so normally this would have been like my worst nightmare. But with Rubrik in place, the disruption was actually so minimal to our operations. It was amazing. We lost access for just a brief amount of time, but the data was fully restored so quickly. And more importantly, our clients never even felt the impact, and some of our employees didn't even know it happened. So obviously things like that can't always be avoided, but Rubrik gives us the tools to recover super fast and keep everything on track. And my IT team wanted me to give you guys a shout out because they're like, we're not stuck putting out fires all day. We can focus on looking forward to projects that move the business forward. We can go on vacation and not be worried that everything's going to be lost in a New York minute. And then for me personally, I oversee operations. So the peace of mind of knowing that our critical data is protected is really indispensable for me, especially when all of our files and a lot of our data go through different departments. So it's constantly moving. It's not just one person working on something. So that movement really does allow for an increase in error. So it frees me up to focus on strategic growth rather than constantly being concerned about data loss or worrying about where something went or who deleted what. It just gives me that peace of mind to know that no matter where the file is, it's protected, it's secured. And if we, make a mistake, it's okay. Mistakes are going to happen, but we're going to be ready.
Thank you, Juliette.